Good morning, everyone. How y'all doing? Hope you're doing well. I just woke up for the second time, basically. So, yeah. I woke up. It was like just after 6, and I couldn't fall back to sleep. So I was going through my social media and kind of finishing up watching MJ's video from yesterday and so forth. And now then I was falling asleep, especially with little Miss Possum curled up in my arm, like how she does. And now I'm awake, or fell back to sleep after that. Oh my goodness, excuse me, sorry. Yeah, now I'm like I said, fell back to sleep. Now I'm waking up again, just waking up. And I'm like, oh shoot, and it's just after 10, and I'm like, oh man, I need to get myself moving here. I just need that little extra sleep. Definitely had our storm system move through yesterday. It was funny. When I was at work, it's like I kept hearing this weird noise every once in a while. I'm like, okay, at first I was like, all right, whatever. But then a little bit later, I was like, what is that noise? And I'm like, I think it's rain. Hearing it on the roof. And I was like, okay, well then I thought about asking somebody. But I didn't, not that I wanted to look like an idiot or anything, but it was just kind of like, I think it's rain. But anyway, yeah, I did ask somebody. Came in, from outside. I guess apparently they had a cart or whatever that they wanted to dry off. They were picking up some throw rugs, some area rugs, and they wondered if we had any paper towels to dry it off, and so we threw them a roll that we had. Somebody grabbed left over from the one of the bathrooms, basically, and sure enough, I asked him, like, is it raining outside? He's like, oh yeah. I'm like, oh, okay. So that answered that question. And yeah, it was definitely raining when I got off from work last night. And when I went out to the car, I had seen that Angie, she sent me a text message. Usually it's Rick who picks me up, but Angie sent me a text message saying that she was there and that she was at the lumber door. And that's the door I usually go in and out of anyway. And good thing she was there. Initially she was parked up underneath the overhead, but somebody else needed to go through, and she was just pulling forward when I walked out the door, and I didn't mind. It was definitely raining pretty good. Hi. She's just like, oh, it was raining pretty good, Mom. Are you talking to me? There she is. There's Miss America. That's Miss America right there. She's definitely more beautiful. I think she should enter. I think so. I think she should enter the Miss America contest. I think she'd win. What do you think? So, anyway, she's been enjoying watching the rain. She's just like, ooh. Yeah, when I woke up initially this morning, I was like, well, I wonder if I might be able to go for my walk. But then I heard Rick talking to Angie. They were talking a little loudly about church situation. And he was like, yeah, it's a little slick out there because it's below freezing right now. So I'm like, yeah, I don't think I'm going to be going for my walk. Unless I want to go ice skating. And now it's raining again. It sounds like it's a combination of rain and sleet. way it's coming down. But I could see on the window, excuse me, not the window, but the screen, that's there. It was, of course, it was wet, but some of it was frozen. Actually, it was all frozen, but the part that I'm referring to is right there at the top of the screen where it had kind of dripped down a little bit, and it was frozen on the screen. And then I happened to also see on the inside part of the frame that there's a droplet up there. It's actually still there. It's like a droplet, like, oops, there we go, about that big around, and it's frozen on top of the frame there. So it's like, okay, yeah. And it's raining, and sounds like it's raining, a combination of rain and maybe some freezing rain, maybe sleet even. So it's coming down pretty good. But yeah, I have the day off today. Yeah, this one will be very happy. And I've been getting with my one friend out there who has all my paperwork. She has a shipping business, let's put it that way. So she gets discounts on shipping, and she has a way where she can give me a substantial discount on shipping. So I'm going to get with her today, take care of that, get my paperwork out here. Yeah, you got some. There we go. There. I know she's been getting some drainage from her eye. That's okay. We're keeping it clean. I haven't felt comfortable giving her Benadryl yet. And then it was like I think about giving it to her, and then I see her eyes get dry. So I'm like, yeah, kind of back and forth with it a little bit. So I'm not entirely too sure. But maybe, we'll see what happens, but maybe with the next paycheck, I might take her across the street to the vet. I don't know. We'll see. At least I'll have a pretty good sized paycheck. It won't be a full one still, of course. But with doing my math, it's like, okay, yeah, that's a pretty nice size one. But the next one, I'm definitely going to finish with all the shipping that needs to be done. Not too sure how much she's going to be able to fit in a box within that shipping price that she's quoting me. So I already know one thing that's going to have to be shipped separately. But as far as all of that's basically my yoga mat, so I'll send off for that. I'm going to also talk to her to see if she would be willing to relinquish my cards I left with her. Technically, she did buy them, but if I give her her money back, wondering if she'll take it and let me have my cards back, and then I can send for all those, and along with the Oracle book, and because I do miss it all, I miss their energy. So kind of like this little one, my babies. Let me see. Yeah, she gets a Mickey in her eye from drainage. So anyway, that, and then I can also take care of my mom's ashes, because I wasn't able to. It's my mom and previous babies, including her brother, who she knew. They're all still back there. Send for all them, and we'll be good to go. Those will have to be overnighted. They're all set, ready to go in the box. I just have to send the person money. Somebody separate has them. Somebody I really trust and everything. The person who has my paperwork and so forth that I was just talking about, her and I had just met. She was the one who actually bought my cards. But she had come over. She's also the one who I got my luggage from. And we did an exchange. Is what we wound up doing and everything. And her and basically he's my ex, but we're still very good friends. And we've been friends for, well, basically since 2008, so almost 17 years. Yeah, this summer will make 17 years. And it just, no, I didn't miss that. Okay. Now, we met the same year that my mom passed away. We met later on that year. So I guess you could say he was the fall guy. Yeah. But anyway, he's the one who has my mom and all the babies. And, of course, not this baby. This baby I have. But she's the one who has everything else. So I just have to send him some money so he can run to the post office and take care of all that. And there's a post office location. Actually, he's got a couple of them. There's the main post office, and then there's one of the satellites there, right there where he lives. And actually, the satellite one would be a lot easier for him. So I figure I'll throw him a little bit extra money too. Of course, he'll try not to accept it and everything, but for his time and so forth, I'll throw him a little extra. We just have to work it out with how I get it to him and everything. So, but anywho, there's that. I'm going to take care of that today. Got a little bit of cooking to do. I am really enjoying this weather. I know most people would be like, oh my gosh, this is just awful. And oh, I'm not. I'm loving it. I'm absolutely loving the weather. And I know Rick, he kept laughing at me about it yesterday with the rain. And he's like, wait until tomorrow when it switches over. We're going to be switching over to snow and freezing rain. And it's going to be a sheet of ice out there and this and that. I'm like, I love it. I'm absolutely loving it. He's just laughing at me. But like I explained to him, I mean, out there, we were over 200 days without any measurable rainfall. We may have gotten like maybe a couple drops or something, but we hadn't had any rain in 200 days, and when you do get rain, you savor that. It's like, oh, and you enjoy it, even though it might get a little humid, because of course when it does rain, it's in the middle of summer. But yeah, you just savor it, you enjoy it, because you don't get it very often. We only get out there, you only get a couple of weeks, if that anymore, worth of rain. So, yeah, I'm just loving this. I can't help it. I'm absolutely loving it. But I know when I was in Florida, during that time, it hadn't been very long since I had been out there, and we had a very active monsoon season too. So, but down there it was just like, oh my gosh, does it rain this much? Because it was almost every single day it rained. And sure enough, they were like, yeah, this is normal. And I'm like, okay. And I was there for about 4 months. It wasn't because of the weather that I moved. It just wasn't a right area for me. And then my mom passed away while we were down there also. And then I just couldn't handle it. I need to be back with people who knew me, back in an area that was familiar to me. Even if wound up not staying connected with people that I knew, which did happen, at least I was back in an area that I was comfortable in. So, but to tell you the truth, I despise Florida so much. I never want to go back there again. And then I almost did there for a minute, but I'm glad I didn't. glad I didn't. I'm glad I wound up here. This has been awesome. I've really enjoyed living here. I'm not in love with it yet. That was actually asked by one of the assistant managers. She asked me that yesterday, and I was just like, not yet. She's like, so are you in love with this yet? And I'm like, not yet. I was honest with her. I'm like, it's just, there's a lot that I've been having to learn, and fortunately yesterday, and it was an 8-hour day for me, and fortunately I, excuse me, I was out on the sales floor all day, which was fine, and it was a Saturday, of course, too, so I had a lot of interaction with people, a lot of opportunities. I did do my first measurement setup yesterday, so I think I've gotten the hang of that, and unfortunately I did get someone just wanted a kind of a quote. They already had measurements. They wanted basically a general quote or whatever for what was it? Yeah, basically a general quote for some carpeting with measurements that they already had. I think I messed it up, to tell you the truth, because it wasn't seeming right. But unfortunately, my trainer was in the middle of a transaction. So, I mean, I possibly could have asked her or whatever, but I was distracting her enough or whatever, and I'll admit, I was a bit flustered. But then, or at the end, she was gone, and I had a half hour left, and I called one of the managers over to basically spot me, explaining them that, this is, or asked them if it'd be all right if basically they just, watch or whatever, and good thing I did, because we wound up in an issue there, and he was still trying to figure it out when, because basically there's carpeting that's on sale until tomorrow, basically. I believe tomorrow's the 31st. Yeah, so it's all on sale until tomorrow, so if you want to get in on that, it's Home Depot, by the way, in case you're just joining. But yeah, for some reason with these folks, with getting the quotes for these, they already had their measurements done, paid for that and everything. But unfortunately, the sale, it's a 10% off, wasn't coming up in their quotes with these couple of different carpets that they were interested in and wanted to find out, had that to make the decision which one they were going to go with. Oh, excuse me. So, yeah, he was still trying to get that sorted out and everything when I had to leave. So, but anywho, so yeah, it's just going to take a minute, and like I had explained to my manager, it was like, yeah, it's just a lot to take in, because it isn't just flooring, it's also blinds and tile, and not just tile for the floor, but backsplashes, laminates, and then of course carpeting and padding and everything it's just a lot to take in. So yeah, it's just going to take some time and everything. And then we also, it isn't, as far as the blinds are concerned, it's not just a matter of the ones that people are buying straight off the sales floor, basically the kits, but it's also ones that we cut, and that's where I'm a little bit more on the nervous side about. So, and the measurement that I had sold yesterday was for somebody who's having somebody come out to get the accurate measurements for blinds for their window. So, yeah, it's just going to be a much better of a situation, personally. I for one, think it's a pretty good idea, especially with the things that are involved with installing the blinds and everything. So it's like if somebody's measurements aren't accurate, they're going to wind up buying the wrong ones or whatever. So my recommendation, pay for the measurement. They can also bring out samples at that time, and you can help you decide, and they will also do install. So you can pay for just the measurement, or you can pay the whole package. It's like $199 for everything. The measurement is only $50, but the whole thing is $199 for somebody to come out to do the measurement and also do the ordering and install. So, yeah, highly recommend. So, saves on a lot of headaches, especially with things that are involved, because it isn't just a matter of getting measurements. Yeah, you do your measurements inside the window, edge to edge, but you have to take off 3/8 of an inch, and that's where it can wind up getting a little bit confusing. So, yeah, so something to learn. And watching her do all the math in her head, because she actually has a science background, and she's really good at doing math in her head, and I'm just like, how in the world? I'm not good with that. When it comes to geometry, I've never been very, well, basically spatial calculations, I've never been very good at that. I get a headache. Doing algebraic equations and, trig, that sort of thing, no problem. But actual, like taking fractions, like measurements of something and doing it in my head, oh, forget it. And oh, that gives me a headache. And I get confused even trying to do it on paper. So, yeah, geometry and I in high school did not get along very well. But I got through it, passed and everything, don't get me wrong, but still, and I moved on all the way up to pre-cal, but yeah. Now, of course, I've lost all that, so, I mean, it's been 30 years since I graduated high school. I had to take one class when I was working on my first bachelor's, but still, yeah, that was over 20 years ago, so, yeah, I've lost all of that, so I need a refresher on all that as well. But oh well. Anywho, when I got home last night, I was pretty wired, so I watched Holland, a movie that has been being advertised up there on Instagram quite a bit, and it's being shown on Prime exclusively. Okay, can't see it in theaters or anything. It's starring Nicole Kidman, I believe. I know she holds another role, behind the scenes other than starring in it. I think she might be executive producer, or maybe she directed. I don't remember what I had read. But anyway, watched that last night. That is supposed to be based in my hometown, or at least where I was born. Didn't spend my first years. I spent them over in Saugatuck. Interesting movie. Yes, I did sit and do the nitpicking. The windmill that is in the movie is the windmill. There's an area called Windmill Island. It's basically Dutch island. Everything you think of Dutch, from tulips to wooden shoes to traditional attire, so on and so forth. There's a gift shop there, and so on and so forth too. It is the windmill. You can read about it. They have a little. It was interesting. They were going up the stairs, and I saw the old movie projector still there. I'm like, does that thing even work anymore? I don't know if they'd still do it or not, but they used to show a movie about how the Dutch people after World War II dismantled one of their windmills and donated it to one of the airborne divisions that's liberated their town. Okay, And my grandfather, especially since he had served in the war, every single year, what would that be, 4 years? Yeah, something like that. Anyway, yeah, from basically from 41 to 45, he's served. And his background was as a bricklayer. His handiwork, as far as the masonry with the bricklaying, on the bottom portion, he was part of that crew, and he's in that film. So yeah, that was really really cool. And it was like I could just see my grandfather, laying down that brickwork and everything. So that was really, really cool. Also, the high school that is in the film, that sign was not switched out. That is Holland High School. So that was really, really cool. I took one look at it. I haven't seen it. Oh my gosh, I think I was maybe 5 or something. So we're talking well over 40 years since the last time I see it, and it hit me like a ton of bricks when I saw it. I'm like, oh my gosh, that is Holland High School. I recognized it immediately, even though I haven't seen it in who knows how long. So that was really, really cool. The Dutch dancing, they kind of got right. It was definitely played down because of, it's supposed to be more background or whatever. So I get it. But they at least did incorporate that. That was really, really cool. And to let you know, you do see both genders playing, dressed up in the male roles. Okay, that is accurate. All right, it's nothing, with Hollywood trying to diversify or anything, because unfortunately you don't have very many males who want to participate. That's the problem. In the Dutch, excuse me, in the Tulip Parade that's held every year, you don't have very many men or boys who want to do it, okay? So, or even on Windmill Island. They do try and fulfill those roles with men as much as possible. But unfortunately, if you don't have participants, somebody's got to fill the role. So take a thing from Shakespeare and have men dress up as women. Well, in this case, it's women dressing up as men, okay? So you will see that a lot, especially if you go to the Tulip Time Parade, okay? I was a little disappointed that they didn't show the cleaning of the street. They did show, of course, a little bit of the Dutch dancing. And there was one comment made as far as, I think this was supposed to be set in the past because they were still using an old phone, and they also had some very old, I think they were Nokia cell phones that they were using. So I think this was supposed to be set back in the past or something, like when cell phones were kind of first still trying to come out or whatever. So no smartphones, but yeah, it was really, I was really weird. Well, two things. There was the scene where they were at a church banquet, and a comment was made that, pastor whatever says that dancing is the work of the devil, because they were talking about the Dutch dancing, and it's like, well, that the other kind of dancing is sinful, but not Dutch dancing, dear. That it was the son in the movie who was making that comment, and Nicole Kidman was coming back with the comeback, and yeah, that is not even back when I lived in the area, that wasn't an issue or anything. So yeah, you can strike that. It's not that religious of an area. maybe at one, it never was, to be perfectly honest. And no, not everybody is all bubbly and acting kind of like robots. And also, not anybody speaks Dutch. That was a thing also. And that's in that in the movie, is that they had people who were speaking Dutch. It actually kind of sounded like Pennsylvania Dutch, to be perfectly honest. And no, that is not the case. Never has been, hasn't been ever since this town was first settled back in the 1850s. So, yeah. Oh, that was a bit extreme. But, and no, that is not downtown Holland. Downtown Holland, the street that the parade is on, it's actually two directions, both side that with the, in the movie. That definitely was a location that I was reading that's down in Tennessee. It was one lane both direction, and that's not the case. And it's definitely not any of the storefronts or anything. So, it's a pretty normal town or whatever. Normal businesses and so forth. So, and I could definitely see that the quaint little houses were not, were not what, yeah. But, with perfectly groomed front yards and so, no. No. But, or not even the ending there when they wound up at a lake. It was a little bit on the hilly side, and you're not going to find that there. It's like, yeah, that definitely isn't any place around there either. So I was just trying to think what else isn't. But I mean, the overall story was really good. I will admit, I died laughing at the end. I mean, I literally I couldn't stop laughing. It was just like, yeah. So, it just sent off my funny bone. Really, really hilarious. Now, most other people, they were probably like, all right, whatever. But I guess because, well, I think with being from there and everything, it's like, yeah, I just couldn't help but die laughing, especially with how they're portraying it. To tell you the truth, what was really going through my mind is how they were portraying the town, with it being also quaint and tranquil and everybody bubbly and this and that and everything. And then with what actually happens, you find out what happens and everything. And then the ending and so forth, it's like, yeah, I guess this was Mayor of Kingstown after all. It's just so funny. So, yeah, that's what really was going through my head. I'm like, oh my gosh. Because Mayor of Kingstown is supposed to be set in a town in Michigan, only on the other side. But of course, it's fictitious. So, but yeah, that was definitely a fictitious town as well, as it was not Holland, Michigan. But I will take a trip out there at some point when I'm ready to get a car and everything. I'm just not, obviously, financially, I'm not ready, but even mentally, psychologically and emotionally, I'm just not ready to get back behind a wheel yet. So I'm in absolutely no hurry. So, yeah. But, anywho, yeah, that's pretty much everything. I don't really feel like doing my yoga. I did do my yoga yesterday. I'm a little bit hungry, so I might do it later or something, but tomorrow, actually the next several days, I definitely will not be doing my yoga first thing in the morning. I gotta be to work at 7. I'm not gonna get up extra early to do my yoga. Forget it. Ain't happening. To tell you the truth, my chest over here it was a little bit flared up earlier. I'm scratching her butt. She's like, Mom, why are you bugging me? Because I want to. So, but anyway, go check out the movie. If you got a Prime account, might as well. It's free anyway, so go check it out. Give yourself something to do for an hour and a half, especially if you're dealing with this weather. So, anywho, I will talk at you later. I love you guys. Oh my goodness. Yeah, most definitely. I'll talk at you later. Love you. Love you.